afternoon. Welcome to 1 p.m. news with me, EDNA KAINDI, and this is my sign name. My sign language interpreter voicing is Jedida Wafula. Now, let's focus on our news. The main suspect in the murder of Nairobi Hospital Finance Director Eric Maigo has been arrested. The suspect, a teenage girl, was captured in Kibra by officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Maigo was brutally stabbed 25 times on the morning of September 15, 2023. The DCI released images of the suspect on Thursday, which led to the recovery of the clothing she had worn. The clothes were found in a semi-permanent wooden shack in Bambululu village, deep inside the sprawling Kibera settlements. The suspect is said to have sat her KCPE examination at Dagoretti approved school between 2021 and 2022. A previous suspect, Cynthia Lusega Andalo, was arrested and charged in connection with the murder. However, she was subsequently released by the court due to the prosecution's inability to provide sufficient evidence to press charges or justify her continued detention. And on to other news item. The State Department for Internal Security and National Administration has launched a training program for 30 trainers who will be trained on government organization and function, security, peace, and safety for citizens, and public participation, engagement, and communication. The program is aligned with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which focuses on social economic empowerment and inclusive prosperity. Internal Security and National Administration PS Raymond Omolo said the training will position national government administrative officers as the driving force behind strategic intervention aimed at boosting Kenya's prosperity.
Provision administration, as it were, before. These are the people who represent government up to the grassroots level, because we want this message to go down up to the village. We want each and everybody get to know that the war on corruption is real. The war on corruption is about ourselves.
It was important that we call the entire structure for a conversation so that we not only give services to Wananchi, but Wananchi gets to appreciate that the taxes that they pay for government programs are properly utilized.
Elsewhere, the Department of Health in Siaya is working towards increasing the uptake of contraceptives to 50% during the current financial year. According to the County Director of Public Health, Kennedy Owenjo, currently the use of contraceptives stands at 43%, with efforts being made to increase the figure by 7%. He was speaking to the media at Mtumbu Chief Camp in North Game location during celebration to mark this year's World Contraceptive Day. Owenjo said that the county has been recording steady rise in the use of contraceptives in all the sub-counties, adding that the department will ensure full-time availability of the same.
Kennedy Odhiambo Owenjo, the Director of Public Health. Today we had the World Contraceptive Day. This is a day that is normally celebrated to be able to give people an option, especially the women of reproductive age, so that they could make options on the best contraceptions that they want to have. We are talking about the theme for this year's World Contraceptive Day to be, of course, the option. So the option that you need to make as an individual on aspects to do with reproductive health. So this day is normally celebrated. The first one was celebrated in 2007 on the September the 26th. And that's why we have been making it a tradition to celebrate this day. Now in Siaya, the contraception, of course, rate is at 43%. But in our annual development plan of 2023-2024, we have anticipated to take it to 50%. So we are striving to get the 7% difference. And of course, if you look at the options that they had for the Kenya Vision 2030 was to get it to, of course, less than 70%. So this is something that we are working towards as a county government, and that's why we are celebrating this day today together with the community and our partnerships to reduce of course, the number of people who are getting unwanted pregnancies. The 43% uptake is an improvement from what we've had previously. And of course, we've had about 38%, but now we are at 43%. And we are anticipating that by the end of this financial year, we'll have moved to over 50%. So this has been a steady rise, and it's something that is, of course, seems to be more successful for us. The contraceptive uptake is, of course, nearly all average within the 6 sub-counties that we have. But Game had the lowest, and that's why we decided to come to Game today, so that we're able to, of course, talk more to the people of Game and the partnership, so that we're able to increase on the, of course, contraceptive use. And contraceptive use will not really rely on the options that they have. It also relies on the availability of commodity and other strategies that we are putting in place, so that we are able to have the commodities on a regular basis and have more people making these particular right options. Now, in terms of financing, we mostly do advocacy for contraception and availability. So the contraceptives are normally, of course, purchased by national government, and within the partnership that we have, we do more advocacy and we do service delivery on these particular contraceptives. So, and also give the opportunity to the communities to make options on the best method that they want to use. So some will choose long-term method, some will choose short-term method, but we are advocating for, of course, the community to make the best of option by giving them all these particular options. So we do more of advocacy and, of course, do service delivery through capacity building of our healthcare providers, so that they can be able to provide these services as needed.
On to other news item. Mula Pride Limited, a digital credit provider that operates Ken Credit and Fair Cash mobile leading apps, has been fined 2,975 Kenya shillings by the Office of the Data Protection Commission, respectively. Through a statement, ODPC said they were found to have used names and contacts information of complaints which were obtained from the third parties and subsequently used to send threatening messages and phone calls. ODPC further added that data protection is the responsibility of every data controller and processor, and it must be the company's top priority whenever they collect, process, or store personal information. Meanwhile, Naivas Supermarket and digital credit lender White Path are awaiting their fate after a compliance audit was conducted on them over data breach reports. On to another news item. At least 33 members of the Meru County Assembly have withdrawn their support of Governor Kawira Mwangaza and subsequently seeking her impeachment. The MCAs drawn from Meru minority parties DEP, Jubilee Party and Nopea Party say they no longer support the governor due to the recent events and what they term as continued inability to lead effectively. The ward representatives have agreed to support the impeachment of Governor Mwangaza, saying it is in the best interest of the people of Meru County. The MCAs have also cautioned against Governor Kawira's attempt to invoke sympathy and potential use of the gender card or spiritual narrative. In their statement, they have emphasized that her incompetence is the issue at hand.
As the Constitution demands, we've done our bit as MCAs. We've tabled the motion before the County Assembly, and now the document that details all the grounds for the impeachment is a public document now. We've done our mandate according to Article 181 of the Kenyan Constitution 2010, which sets out the grounds for removal of a governor from office, which includes violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, or misconduct.
MCA wote wameweka na hata wapiga kura wenyewe wangeweka, na wacha niseme tutasupport hiyo motion mpaka Meru rundi pahali ilikuwa wakati wa Mheshimiwa Kiraito Muronge na Peter Munya, wakati tulikuwa tunaona maendeleo.
Given instructions by our SG, who is Honorable Kanini Kega, that as Jubilee forthwith, going forward, with Jubilee withdraws its support to one Honorable Kawira Mwangaza.
Kabla December tutakuwa na gavana mwingine mpya, kwa sababu hii ni kitu tulianza kitambo na tulianzia hapa. Kwa hivyo tuna vita na wewe gavana, kwa hili ya kuonana. Tulikuambia urekebishi na waheshimu wa Meru, ukasindwa.
And finally, the tourism industry in the country is on the path to fully recover following improved performance this year after a 2-year slump occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Tourism Research Institute acting CEO David Gitonga said tremendous progress had been made, and by the end of 2022, the country was at 73% recovering towards the best year numbers of 2019. Speaking on Tuesday during a meeting with hospitality industry players in Embu, Gitonga said by the end of June this year, the industry was at 92% recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. He said, given the projections, all indications were that by the end of the year, the industry should be somewhere around the 2019 figures, if not beyond.
Viewed as an economic activity that really converts, all these opportunities to improving the livelihoods of others. Today, we are here to mark the 6th day of the week-long celebrations. And today we are in a workshop that puts together stakeholders from the tourism sector and the tourism sector agencies under the Ministry of Tourism, of course led by the Ministry of Tourism, in order to interact and get to know how we can support the stakeholders in tourism. The private sector is one of those platforms. It's actually the key platform that provides infrastructure for tourism to thrive. They own the hotels, they own the aircrafts, they own the restaurants, they own the bars. They own every other infrastructure that tourism then grows. And so we are here to interact with them, to give them information that is helpful and that makes their businesses easier in terms of the various mandates that we are in.
So we are making very good recovery, and we are confident, like our cabinet secretary has been saying, that by the end of this year we should be somewhere around the 2019 figures, if not beyond. Tourism is one of those key resources that will help us conserve the environment, and it's also affected by climate change. So the issue, the government is, I know currently, the government is seized with working out proper modalities and frameworks to be able to guide the carbon trade, the carbon credit markets. There are a few things I know the government needed to fix in terms of the carbon credit markets. And although there's quite some progress in that, and the climate change conference, the African Climate Summit was a good eye-opener. It was a good platform for the African countries to share their experience, because the challenges we are facing in terms of carbon markets are the same challenges the other African governments are facing. But I'm sure once we get, and I know there's good progress from the area of the government and the ministry responsible for that. Once we get there, we will be able to, it will be one of the ways to mitigate against human-wildlife conflict, because it could create other revenue streams for communities that are responsible for conserving our natural areas.
Haswa wa Kenya Tourism Federation na private sector, tukiangalia sisi ndio ambao tunayo ile product. Kwa hivyo tunaweza sema hata tukiangalia nambari watalii ambao walifanya kuja nchini mwaka jana, tulikuwa tunatoka pale kwa COVID. Kama hatungeongelelea jambo la tourism tukiwa kwa chini ya umbrella, na kuambia serikali leteni facilitation ambayo itawezesha watalii watoke kule wanatoka wakiwa na confidence ya kuja nchini. Kwa hivyo kama hatungefanya hivyo, hatungeweza kupata zile nambari milioni 2 na kupita juu. Unaona sasa nambari na pesa zinatembea pamoja. Na kama hatufanyi hivyo tukiwa private sector na kuzungumza na public sector, basi watalii hawataweza kuja.